Hello, this is Claire at French in the Midlands. Bonjour, Claire at French in the Midlands. I made this video to dispel a myth that they still teach in school, and after 20 years of teaching, this really riles me. So, let me explain. You've got 3 levels of French. You've got one written level, which is very posh, and 2 spoken levels, which are much more familiar. What they don't tell you in school is that nobody speaks the written French, and that's exactly what they teach you, which explains why when you go to France, you don't understand anything about what people say because they don't speak like you learnt. To give you an example with English, we were taught in English to say, how do you do? Nobody says, how do you do? They say, how are you? Or hiya, or even where I live, hey up. So you see, I wish I'd been taught that when I was in school, but weren't. So let me show you exactly how it works. First level, written French, which is posh, and you'd only find that in books, in letters, sometimes in emails, but only if they're very formal. Otherwise, you'd email pretty much as you would speak. So I've divided this section into 2 parts. I'll show you 3 examples of questions and 3 examples of statements, and I'll use the same throughout to show you how they change with each level. The first example I chose is Que fais-tu? What are you doing? Or what do you do? It's exactly the same in French. So notice you have that inversion of the fait and the tu, the verb and the subject. That's only used in written French. And that's what makes French posh, and we really do not speak like that. Que mangeons-nous? Another example. What are we eating, or what do we eat? Again, you've got that inversion, plus you've got the use of nous. Nous means we, but only in written French. It's very, very formal, and that's not what we use when we speak. Last example. Que penses-tu de ce film? So you see that inversion again with the hyphen. And that's what makes it posh. What do you think about this film? Let's move on to the statements now. Je ne sais pas. I do not know. That's what you would say in English. Do you really say I do not know? I don't think so. For the same reason we don't say je ne sais pas. Another example is je ne suis pas d'accord avec vous. I disagree with you, or I do not agree with you. Again, we wouldn't really say I do not because it's too formal. A final example, ce n'est pas vrai. It is not true. You wouldn't say it is not true in real life, you would say it's not true. So for that reason, we don't say ce n'est pas vrai. That's what we would write. And the reason that teach you this is because it is grammatically correct. When you've got a negative, you should put ne and pas either side of the verb. That's correct, but that's not how we speak because it's too long. So let me show you the everyday French, which is actually how we speak. So same question becomes qu'est-ce que tu fais? What are you doing? Or what do you do? This seems a bit odd because qu'est-ce que is much longer than que. The que is posh, qu'est-ce que is familiar, and that's the way it is. Notice the tu and the fait are back to their normal place. So in effect we're saying what you do. There is no are you or do you, it's what you do. Second examples becomes qu'est-ce qu'on mange? What are we eating? You see the qu'est-ce que for what, and then the nous has changed to on, which is how we say we in French when we speak. And the on is really handy because the ending of your verb is the same as je, more or less. Not always, but more or less. So, qu'est-ce qu'on mange? Much easier than que mangeons-nous? Third examples becomes qu'est-ce que tu penses de ce film? So again, qu'est-ce que is the what, and tu penses, back in the right order, what you think about this film. So what do you think about this film? For your statements, you've got je sais pas. We don't say je ne sais pas, we say je sais pas. The same way as you say I don't know in English. That sounds much more natural. Je suis pas d'accord avec vous. You notice the ne has disappeared, and that's what makes it posh, it's the ne. I disagree with you, or I don't agree with you. And the last one, c'est pas vrai. It's not true. C'est, you've noticed the ne is gone as well. Ce n'est pas vrai becomes c'est pas vrai. It rolls off the tongue a lot more easily as well. Now let's have a look at the very familiar spoken French. This is what we speak among ourselves when we speak really fast and we're quite familiar with each other. So you'll hear tu fais quoi a lot rather than qu'est-ce que tu fais, which is the equivalent of what you're doing. You'll also hear on mange quoi instead of qu'est-ce qu'on mange, what we're eating. And finally, t'en penses quoi de ce film? What do you think about this film? So you've got the extra en in there. Don't worry about it just yet. It's got many uses and we'll come back to that later. For now, you don't need to speak like that. Just stick to the everyday level, which I showed you previously. For your statements, je ne sais pas, which became je sais pas, is now je sais pas, which is your equivalent of I don't know. Je ne suis pas d'accord avec vous became je suis pas d'accord, which is now je suis pas d'accord avec vous. I disagree with you. And ce n'est pas vrai, which was c'est pas vrai, has now become c'est pas vrai. It's not true. So you've noticed in the last three, je sais pas is short for je sais pas, je suis pas for je suis pas, and c'est pas for c'est pas. But that's not how we would write it, that's only how to pronounce it. You would never ever write that down unless you wanted to make a point. But that's to show you how it works, and a lot of the time when we speak quite fast amongst ourselves, this is what you're going to hear. So I hope this was quite useful. I still encourage you to use the previous everyday level, which is what maybe 80% of people speak at. And then it's only behind closed doors we kind of let ourselves go a little bit and then move on to the very familiar French. But there is no need for you to be on that level straight away. The everyday level is perfect. So I hope that was useful. And I hope you will watch some more videos like this one on my website. For more videos like this one, hit the subscribe button or go to my website, frenchinthemidlands.com. À bientôt!